Hello, and welcome back to the C-Suite Sidekick. I'm your host, Summer Paletti. Today we're tackling clickbait that I feel like every marketing thought leader has used. Is Outbound dead? Have you ever stared disappointedly at the dashboard in your CRM? Open rates, click-through rates don't look great, response rates are even worse, and you kind of know where this is heading? Missing revenue goals, a plateau, and God forbid, declining revenue. And you start to think that maybe that clickbait has something to it? As someone who has worked with myriad companies across different industries, sizes, and stages of business, I can tell you that, yeah, outbound is dead. Well, sort of. Bad outbound is dead. And let me add a little color commentary. B2B sales and marketing has been digitized for a few decades now, ever since brochures became websites. And buyers have started to become more and more distracted at work and at home with the infusion of more and more technology. Email marketing came along to rescue us. Then buyers moved to social media, and then we followed them there too. I heard someone recently say that technology has let us scale bad outbound, and that stuck with me. Have you ever felt like your outbound wasn't working, so you felt the need to hire someone or buy some tech to help you do more of it? Before you do that, the reason why buyers ignore messages is because there's so many of them. And thanks to Gen AI, they all sound kind of the same now. By the way, I wrote this script, not ChatGPT. AI has let us automate and scale our bad outbound efforts. Now, according to Forrester last year, they predicted that thinly customized Gen AI content will worsen the purchase experience for 70% of B2B buyers in 2024. And if your results aren't hitting where you want, this could be part of the challenge. Now, if you're new here, let me tell you, I am a big AI fan. When used responsibly and ethically, it can help increase productivity. I write my podcast scripts, like I told you, but my GPT analyzes them and reminds me that I forgot to ask for reviews or that I need a stronger hook. I don't ask my GPT for topics I should write about and then further ask it to write a podcast script for me. And even worse, there are AI voices that could deliver it for you. Like, ew, who is going to listen to an AI-generated, AI-written podcast and then call to work with you? Probably nobody. So when we're thinking about outbound being dead, or bad outbound being dead, or your outbound not working, I want to caution you about making any rash decisions. Let's not throw away your outbound strategy entirely. Let's also not do the opposite and go all in on AI sales and marketing. With just about everything, the perfect approach lies somewhere in the middle. Good outbound strategy, good messaging, coupled with tech tools that allow you to deliver at scale. Independent players in financial services and SaaS and other fields know that it's highly competitive out there. You need to fill your pipeline, you need to stand out against your larger, more aggressive competitor, and to do that, you're going to have to differentiate. And to do that, we're going to have to get back to basics. So let's talk about fixing, not ditching your outbound. And of course, before we fix, we need to diagnose. If you're running outbound sales and marketing tactics and you're not getting the results that you need, I have good news for you. There are generally only two problems. The first is that you're not doing enough. Statistically speaking, you need 17 to 20 touches before you engage a prospect. Those are likely sales and marketing tactics combined, but salespeople generally give up after about 4 now. So statistically, your team might not be doing enough outreaches. A good outbound sales strategy will combine cold outreaches to companies that fit your ICP. A mix of calls, emails, social media outreaches, video messages, and also regular outreaches to past prospects and clients, regular outreaches to potential referral partners, including current clients, and regular engagement with referral partners with the purpose of winning business together. Use a data-driven approach by backing into your revenue goal with average deal sizes and closing ratios to see how much of each activity you need to be doing each day. Track activities, measure results, adjust as needed. Now, this is easier said than done. If you or your sales team needs help, feel free to reach out. I love salespeople, and I know a lot of great ones. You and I have both come across some lazy ones, though. On my teams, the underperformer was never doing enough sales activity, so that is why I start here. Now let's pretend you or your sales team are doing all the right activities in all the right quantities, enough outbound, and you're still not getting the results you need. This leads us to the second potential problem. Your messaging is off. It's not resonating with your audience. Here's a little bit of what bad outbound might look like. A blanket email to a bought list, no research, no personalization, beyond insert name here. On the other hand, effective outbound is laser focused, it's asking compelling questions, it's addressing pain points, and doing the research to show that you actually care. And the good news is that AI can help you here. I've got 4 things that don't work in outbound messaging that are probably leading people to think that outbound is dead, and also 4 tips that you can use today. First, statistics do not work in cold email outreaches. Your average buyer tends to think that statistics are made up. Have you ever gotten a cold email promising to 10x your results? Yeah, you probably have. Did you respond? I seriously hope not. So here's your tip. Instead of leading with stats, start your cold email with a question that taps into your prospect's pain points. It's a much more effective way to grab their attention. The best way to do this is to be dialed into your ideal client profile and to understand why clients buy from you. They don't buy to 10x their results or cut their costs in half. They buy because you solve a challenge better than your competitors. Let's talk about everyone's favorite thing to buy, insurance. Have you ever gotten your insurance renewal and nearly fell out of your chair that the rates were so high? Imagine what happens if you're in an area prone to natural disaster, or if you're my client who works with shops that rent outdoor adventure equipment like snowboards and jet skis. Potential risk within the insurance industry says that every renter could die and their family could sue you. So insurance generalists usually charge exorbitant rates. My client knows that his deep understanding of the outdoor sports industry can help him save his clients an average of 25 to 30% over his competitors. Here's a potential email. We can save you 30% on your insurance premium. Does that sound like every insurance ad ever? Yeah, it kind of does. What he asks instead is, have you ever felt like your insurance provider raises your rates every year just because they can? Our clients say they work with us because we work exclusively in outdoor sports, so we recommend all the coverage they need and nothing they don't, which typically provides cost savings over insurance generalists. Do you hear the difference? We're focusing the message around the client, talking about a real business challenge, and leading them to a better result instead of promising something generic. Second, the messaging isn't personalized. Now, it doesn't have to be hyper-personalized and make you look like a cyberstalker, but it does need to show that you've done a little bit of research and you know who you're reaching out to. If it looks generic, it's just not going to land these days. Have you ever gotten a message that was so out of left field? You know the sender blanket emailed a bought list doing zero research. I've gotten emails praising me about my work in the healthcare industry. You mean like last week when I took my daughter to her orthodontist appointment? Here's your quick tip. Use AI tools to help you conduct research quickly so that your initial outreach can be deliberate and personal. Your AI tool can research common complaints about your main competitors and summarize them for you. Then you can compare that against why your ideal client chooses you and come up with some questions that are meaningful. You can also use your AI tool to quickly research market trends and predictions in a specific industry that you focus on. If you have a couple of different target markets, that's okay. Have a couple of different cold emails targeted at questions that will engage that specific industry. If you're going after a big client, have your AI model do deep research on their business. And research that used to take hours, it's going to take you minutes now. And to make it even more fun, while my GPT is using my laptop to do research, I do something else like make a call or refill my water. Multitasking. A word of caution before we move on. You can clearly see that I love AI. It helps me speed up research and analyze data. But here's the thing. Over-reliance on AI in outbound can backfire. Gartner research shows that today's B2B buyer values a salesperson who is trustworthy and consultative, and they want to build a relationship that lasts past the initial sale. And it's especially important if you're an independent provider. Sometimes that personalized service, whatever that means to your clients, sometimes that's the reason why they buy from you. When everything sounds the same, it stops cutting through the noise and you lose your differentiator. Or even worse, you fail to be remembered. A lot of this is about being the person that people go to when they have a specific problem that they need to solve. So use AI to help you research and do the boring and mundane so that you can concentrate on what makes you extraordinary. There are also tools out there that can do some cool stuff. And before you adopt those, I want you to ask yourself, should I? Case in point, I had someone send me a cold DM that was a video message to me where he was talking to the camera and he had used AI to insert my name in it. I was super creeped out. And that is not how you want to come across or be remembered. We want to implement AI responsibly so that we are automating mundane tasks and being more productive, but without crossing that line where we're being creepy to our prospects and clients. The third reason is that your team might be coming on too strong, coming in for the hard sell in the first message instead of asking questions, getting to know the prospect, seeing if there's anything there, and building a relationship. If you go for the hard sell in the first message, it's not going to work. Have you ever got a message from someone who would love to tell you about their product or service? Yuck. Or maybe it might even be something that you've thought of, but you're just not at that stage. You don't have that budget. It's a nice to have right now. If they build a relationship with you, you're going to reach out to them when you need it. But if they're pushy and aggressive, when you need it, you're definitely not going to think of them, right? The first message, especially in a cold outbound campaign, should be aimed at selling a quick conversation. That's it. So here's your quick tip. Approach new connections and conversations with curiosity. You can't be sure where they might fit in your network. And remember, not everyone is an ideal client. We've got a different episode about saying no to people and turning down business that's misaligned. But maybe they could be a referral partner. You never know until you get to know them. Your fourth and final reason for this episode is that your messaging just might be focusing on your features and benefits and your company. This is another lesson that I learned the hard way. I was working in SaaS on the development team as a client experience advisor. I'm not a techie. When launch day came for our new product, we were excited and we threw a party. There was a TV with a demo showing in the background. There was drinks. We got a great turnout. People came, they hung out for a while. It seemed like a smashing success. But then here's the problem. It generated 0 leads. No one wanted to talk about it, nothing. The problem was that we talked too much about all the cool stuff the system did, and we did nothing to talk about the impact that it could have, the improvement of the daily working lives of its users. As a small business owner, you've got a great product or service that you've put a lot of thought into. So this should hurt a little bit. No one cares. What people care about is their business challenges. If they can't see clearly that you understand or care about them, They're not going to make the connection and think that you can solve their challenges. Here's your quick tip. Tell success stories from the lens of your best clients so that prospects can see how your solution helps and they can picture themselves in the story. Know your ideal client very well. Lead with questions designed to show that you understand and care about their challenges. And our clients say they like is way more powerful than I want to tell you about our system. One last thought before we wrap up. Maybe the messaging is great, but have you ever thought that possibly your prospect is never seeing it in the first place? They might not be ghosting it, it might end up in spam. Have you ever had a message from a new contact land in your spam folder? Yeah, we all have. So don't be too hard on yourself. Also, your prospects are probably busy just like you are. Have you ever clicked on an email and then got distracted and never responded? And then it got lost because it was marked as read. It got buried under other emails. And a couple days later, you think you've responded because you kind of had your response in your head. Yeah, you've done that. I've done that. We've all done that. And this is why you need to run an omni-channel outbound sales and marketing strategy with multiple touches. Do enough of it, get your messaging right, and stay persistent. Here's your homework for today. Go to your CRM and audit your team's year-to-date outbound activity. Looking for, are they doing enough touches? If they are the messages being opened? If you're seeing some need for improvement, make a couple of tweaks now. Failing to act now might turn that revenue plateau into a revenue drop. And I know you don't want that. Now is the time to make some changes to improve your outbound, which will get you more responses. The actions you take now are going to lead to closed deals in first quarter. We have just scratched the surface here. There are a lot of related topics. Check out some of my other content on aligning sales and marketing, follow-up strategies, and more. If you need something specific, feel free to reach out and pick my brain. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Summer Poletti, rhymes with spaghetti, or find me on my website, theriseofus.com. If you found this helpful, I would appreciate a review. It helps my reach. Send this to someone in sales and marketing or a business owner who has ever been frustrated with their dashboard or their outbound. And let's slay the day together. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week.